Hello, what is happening? Welcome to my Premier League review for game week 8. Another interesting weekend. A lot of decisions gone wrong, a lot of controversial talking points, a lot of penalties given everywhere, a lot of penalties missed. Interesting results as well. The Man City Liverpool game wasn't as exciting as what we all thought. Man United grabbing the win, which Ollie desperately needed again. Chelsea, Spurs winning also, even Southampton. But we're going to get straight into it with Brighton versus Burnley. I'm just trying to think of something exciting to talk about this. I actually completely forgot the game was on. It just came through on my flash score saying Brighton 0, Burnley 0. I was like, okay, the game's kicked off, but actually, it actually finished. So yeah, enough about that game. Moving on to the next one was Southampton versus Newcastle. A very, very poor performance from Newcastle. Giving the ball away cheaply too many times, which led to both of the goals and some good goals as well, especially Che Adams' goal. He had a great strike just beforehand. It was a good save. I think it was from Darlow. But then, the second chance he got, stuck it in the back of the net. Great finish from him. And then the second goal as well, just poor Newcastle defence. It was so naive from Newcastle. It was, after the good performance against Everton, well, not a good performance, after the win against Everton, you'd think that, they'd maybe go to Southampton with a little bit of confidence. That's why I had them on both teams to score, which didn't happen. But Southampton just looked hungry, they looked desired, and also to keep a clean sheet was vital for them after, being 4-0 up last week against Villa and only winning 4-3. But another good win for them. It actually sent them top of the league, which was crazy. But props to Southampton. Ralph's doing a great job. I'm not even going to try and say his last name because I don't think I can say it. But Southampton are looking like the underdog so far, and the next kind of team in a hot streak of form. It'll be interesting to see how far they go. Moving on to Saturday, we have Ollie back at the wheel again. He's at the wheel one week and he isn't at the other. Bruno Fernandes carried that Manchester United team. He was fantastic, I have to say. He was brilliant. He looked up for it. He was in every challenge. He was creating everything. He was involved in all the goals. United without him, they really would look a very, very poor team. Any kind of injury to Fernandes, like the Van Dijk to Liverpool injury, would be so costly to them. And if it does happen, I don't know what really could happen to Man United because, I know a few good other performances here and there, but they just don't look the same. I don't think they'd ever look the same team without him. They got lucky with some of the goals. I think the second goal is a little bit lucky that Rashford did miss it. And then he did, going off the post. And the first goal as well, poor defending from Everton. You shouldn't really leave a player unmarked. Free header into the top. It was a good header, to be fair. But even with the first goal, they couldn't live with Calvert-Lewin. Lindelof couldn't. And, it was very smart from Calvert-Lewin to stand on Lindelof. Got the flick on. But now kind of scuffs it. It kind of goes in. It was a good start for Everton. But it was their only shot on target, as you can see on the stats on the screen. But other than that, I actually thought United were really good. I knew they was going to win this game. I thought 2-1. I thought it was brilliant, and Cavani obviously seals it towards the end. But I thought United were actually looked very good, and when they played football in that first half, like after Everton scored, they actually looked a very good team. It looked like the United of old, and I just knew they would turn up. They always would do, and I think if they didn't, Ollie would be gone, especially going into an international weekend. But yet again, Bruno saves the day. A very surprising result in Crystal Palace 4, Leeds 1. Controversy in this game. Bamford, how he was being ruled offside for the equaliser originally, I do not know. But then again, all of Palace's goals, I don't want to take anything away from Palace, but I feel like they got very lucky in this game. Like Dan's header goes in off the post, it could have gone anywhere. Bamford wasn't offside and he got ruled as offside. The game could have changed completely. A lot of if and buts. Eze's free kick was a great free kick, but again, in off the bar, could have gone anywhere. And then obviously Bamford does grab his goal. And then Costa's own goal. I feel like the keeper took far too long to respond to what was happening. I felt like he could have done more there. But the deflection was, when it's your day, and I think it was for Palace. Because I think AU's goal even hit the post as well. But, a good result for Palace. Again, Leeds getting thumped 4-1 twice in a row now, home and away. Defensively, obviously, they're not looking as good as what Bielsa wants them to be. And hopefully they really need to tie it up. It's nice to kind of play this kind of sexy, kind of nice football with, high energy. But, when you're not solid at the back, it doesn't matter how good football you can play. You know, teams are gonna, you know, expose you, especially in the Premier League, and even teams like Palace. But for Eze, looked great, a really good player. Zaha again, he looked really good. I expected a lot more from Leeds, but when you're having the struggle look that Palace were having, it's just unfortunately not your day. The 5:30 kickoff was Chelsea against Sheffield United, and it was like a rinse and repeat with the Liverpool-Sheffield United game. Sheffield United go 1-up. It was a very well worked goal from Sheffield United. McGoldrick with a nice little flick, well worked from the corner. But Chelsea were just proving way too strong. I knew it was going to be a big scoreline. I think they got the goal a little bit too early for Sheffield United's sake. It was a bit of a scruffy goal. I think Kovacic blindly plays it back. Abraham scuffs it into the corner. But when you're kind of like your team's on form, like these things do happen for you. Chilwell's goal as well. I think Ramsdale could have done a little bit more there. But Thiago Silva's header and Werner's goal as well was a good finish. I think Ziyech is kind of showing how good he really is. I knew he was a good player, and I knew he was kind of dangerous and had a great left foot, but I didn't realize how good he was. He's proven to be probably Chelsea's best signing. I mean, I know Mendy's done great, but the impact that Ziyech has had over the last couple of games, yeah, I think he's been man of match for most of them. He's been brilliant, and I think it's exactly what Chelsea have needed. They've had a lot of, let's say, right-footed players, and they've got like a left-footed player to come off on the right side as well to create something different. But Lampard's doing well. I'm happy for Lampard. I'm a fan of Lampard. I think he's a good manager, and he's getting the best out of the team now. And I think, you know, people still slate Lampard, and I don't really understand. You know, he's only been in management for a couple of years. You know, he took Derby straight to the Championship playoff final. Unfortunately, they did lose. They got Chelsea to the Champions League again, and you know he's doing pretty well so far this year, and they are a title contender. You know, I don't really know what more people can expect from Lampard. Maybe a trophy. Obviously, they did lose to Arsenal in the FA Cup, but I think people should give him a little bit more praise. I think he's doing a really good job there, and you know he's blended a lot of experience with the likes of Thiago Silva with some of the youth, and it's kind of showing. And I'm interested to see how Chelsea do. The late kickoff on Saturday was West Ham against Fulham. Oh, this was a game where at the beginning and the end of the game was actually very exciting, but the middle was undercooked. You know, at the start, the first 15 minutes was open. It was end to end. West Ham started off brilliantly, and then Fulham kind of grew into the game, and I was actually impressed with Fulham. I think, you know, West Ham would probably be the better teams just slightly, but I thought Fulham put up a good fight. I think they was high on confidence after the win against Palace. And then obviously West Ham grabbed that goal in the 91st minute, and you think, oh well, you know, that's it. You know, I got West Ham to win. You know, it was great. And then Ademola Lookman, it's probably a moment in his career which he will learn the most. And you know, I don't think it will be it can be an impacting moment, but it'll be depending on how he reacts from this. And I think if he goes into the next game and grabs a goal, then it kind of shows the character that he has. You know, he's still a young player, but the decision to do a Panenka penalty was just, especially when you look at Fulham as a club, they need as many points as they can from anything they can get. Because first of all, the penalty, I like Tom Kenny. He used to play for Hull, but it was a dive. You know, he barely touched him. Ben Rama barely touched him, and he fell over. And you know, it was one of those which I couldn't believe it was given. You know, it was a blatant dive. I know there was contact, but you know, if people just want to argue the fact that there's contact, it doesn't matter. If I just touch you there and he falls over, like theoretically, like what he did, you know, come on, this is a game of football at the end of the day. You know, it was supposed to be men, not boys, and you know they were just looking for penalties and just diving, and it wasn't great. It wasn't great to see, and I think it was just as well served. But the way that it was served was. It was one. I think, you know, I don't know what's going through his mind at the time. You know, they desperately need a point, and you know they have a great chance in the 98th minute, and you do a Panenka. You know, I don't know if anybody can really justify why he did it, but you know, it was just as well served, I have to say. I think, but for West Ham, it was a good result. You know, it was a result which they needed, especially after the difficult fixture list so far this season, and it'll be interesting to see how they carry on doing after the international break. Another win for Spurs away. I had both teams to score. I thought, you know, West Brom wouldn't go again without scoring at home, but they did. Spurs obviously weren't great at the first half, but like second half, they got the goal which they needed. They defended pretty well as well at times. You know, Spurs, you know, defense and being away was always questioned last season. But Mourinho has changed that away from home. They're a little bit more solid, or a lot more solid than what they used to be. Of course, Harry Kane grabs his 150th goal in the Premier League already. It feels like he hasn't been around that long still, but he's proven to be such an impactful player again. I'm praying that he doesn't get injured because, he needs a full season. And I'm saying this for England's sake because I want him to be on hot form. He usually goes into England with some kind of injury. But I feel like, with how good Spurs have been and the fixture list they've got going forward, there's an injury coming. And I can just kind of feel it with Spurs. There always is an injury coming. I don't know if Carlos Vinicius is the player to replace Kane. Well, not replace him, but to kind of cover for Kane yet. We still haven't seen enough of him. But hopefully they can stay fit because Spurs have had a good start. They've kind of, done what they've done with the teams in front of them. But they've got a very tough fixture list going forward. And I think we can't really judge Spurs as title, contenders until after those fixtures are done. But until then, they've done a good start so far. Second in the league, I believe. But good work from Mourinho. They've got them winning away from home. But for West Brom's sake, they didn't do too bad. But I think this is not maybe the game that they're looking to take maximum points from. Hopefully they can, kind of turn it around because I believe they are bottom now. I haven't actually looked at the table yet. But yeah, another good win for Spurs. Now we're moving on to another game that had a controversial decision. And it was the first penalty which Vardy did score. And the handball and Kilman. I don't get how this is handball. And the thing is, they got 2 penalties, did less than the second one was a penalty, but they didn't score from that one. So it kind of evened itself out. But before he's even realizing what's happened, the ball, so he hit the ball and the ball's already hit his hand. He can't even do anything. He can't even go anywhere, and he's not gonna defend with his arms across his side. Like he's in a movement, he's running towards the ball, and it's the same as the next game I'm gonna talk about with Gomez's handball. Like how the officials are calling this handball, I really do not know. It's more of a ball to hand. He's not put the hand in, it's not deliberate or anything, and it's something which is just kind of ruining the game for me. Because if that wasn't given, then there's, they don't score from the penalty and does the result change? It's another big if, such as like the Bamford one as well. I just think it's crazy. Just the way that the officials are seeing these things, and it's not really making sense. I'm gonna have a look into it a little bit more, maybe make a video. I'm not too sure. But another good result for Leicester against a very good team, which are Wolves, and puts them top of the league as well. But is it Kane versus Vardy? I think is that how the season could be? I mean, I'd love to see that happen. I think the last time, obviously, Leicester won the league, Spurs were the team which put the pressure on. So, could that happen again? Liverpool are probably going to be in the mix. But moving on to Liverpool again, with the Joe Gomez handball, how that's given handball, I really don't know. He's turning his hand away to try and make sure it doesn't happen. But with, obviously, the speed of the ball, like the Kilman handball, like, he's trying to move out the way. He doesn't even realize what's even happening. It's ball to hand, but yeah, how it's given as a penalty. But then again, another game there, Justice served De Bruyne. I mean, the penalty was absolutely dreadful. I think it says in the stat here, with Manchester City, it was the first penalty that's been missed off target since the Mahrez one again at Anfield. I think it was it last year or the year before, when they drew 0-0. So it's interesting how City don't hit the target against Liverpool in the pens. But Salah kind of showed them how to do. I think Edison was a little bit unsure with Salah because he keeps slotting him down the middle. But that's the kind of like the mind games that players at the elite level do have. But another really good goal from Jesus, a really good turn. But on Trent Alexander, who is out now injured, and all the managers are calling for the fixture list to kind of be changed, or to be redone. Also with 5 subs as well, especially the big teams, because they are, and I think with them faltering so much, and with the likes of Man City mid-table, Liverpool not really running away with it. I think what people could have expected them to have, like United in bottom half of the table. I can understand it, and they are, I can't remember what the word I'm trying to say. They're like a. What I'm trying to say is that they're kind of being punished for their own kind of success, to where they're in Europe and they're playing a lot more games than the teams around them. But due to the congested fixture list, they're getting punished a lot more for that. especially, you know, with the injuries. You know, Liverpool now without Van Dijk, without Trent, they've had other injuries with centre backs as well. City not really being with a recognisable striker so far this season for many games. You know, a downfall to their own success, something like that. I don't know what the word is. Let me know in the comments below. My mind's not really working right now. I think it's for Liverpool, it's a good point. You know, they're not being fantastic away. I think in the last 10 games they've only won 3 games compared to 16 or 17. I believe that's what the stat is. But you know, City at home again, it's another miss. I think they are the teams that needed to win, but they haven't yet. They've drawn quite a lot so far this year. But they just don't look the same going forward. They're not really as prolific compared to what other teams are. Maybe one day they'll click. I don't know if they really will. I don't know what it is that they're missing. Is it Sane? Because Sane was a fantastic player, even though they didn't have him that much last year. Or a team just, you know, more, you know, they just maybe not got the energy that what they used to have due to all the congested fixture list of what they do have. Concerning for Pep. But, you know, where is City going to finish? Are they really going to be finished top 4? You know, with the likes of Spurs, Chelsea, Leicester and Liverpool do look far better than what City are at the moment. Last game of the weekend. I said last week, Arsenal fans, do not get too excited. Yes, you beat Man United, but the only goal you've scored in those 3 games was a penalty. And now he's gone to 4 games. The only goal you've scored was a penalty. You've lost 3 of them. 2 at home, 1 away, and you've just been outplayed by Aston Villa. Villa, who have lost the last 2 games. But one thing I really have to say about Villa, that second goal, and with the ball over to Barkley and the touch across to Watkins, oh, what a goal that is. I think, you know, if any of the big teams would have scored that, I think it would have been like, you know, on the highlight reels. I think it's a fantastic goal. I think it's a really good goal. And then Jack Grealish for the 3rd goal, running from his own half. You know, setting in Watkins, and you know, it was good for Watkins. You know, it was good for his confidence. The fact that it's not just a one-off game against Liverpool that he got the goals. You know, he's got 2 against Arsenal here. But there's a really good start. It says Aubameyang failed to make a single shot. It's the first time he's played the full 90 minutes in a Premier League match for Arsenal without attempting even a shot. The thing is for Arteta is accommodating Lacazette, and when you got players who are not anywhere near where they should be for, especially the price that they paid for Lacazette, but then you've got your best player out wide who's not being able to even have a sniff on goal, kind of shows where the problems are. And you know, everyone's now kind of like getting on Arteta's back. You know, they need another rebuild again, especially for what he's starting to do, and he started to install some belief into the Arsenal team. But when you get outplayed by Aston Villa, regardless of, I mean, I don't know if it's regardless of the season that we're having, but you're Arsenal at home. You should not be getting outplayed by a team that finished a point above the relegation zone, regardless of how good they started this season. It can't happen. And with Arteta saying as well, like, that was not my team going out there. But I have to give props to Villa. I didn't expect them to win. I thought they'd go there and maybe get rolled over possibly, but you know, the way that Arsenal had been, I wasn't too sure. But I don't think anybody, and even Villa fans, ever expected that 3-0 win. A very impressive performance. And, you know, was it just a little blip? You know, the games that they did get beat. But we'll see. Time will tell. We've got an international break, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll be making videos when we come back. I will be streaming Call of Duty. If you guys, anybody who enjoys watching Call of Duty, I'll leave my link to my Twitch down below. If you guys enjoy the videos though, make sure you do smash the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. There's going to be Football Manager coming, and the beta is just coming out. The new game will be coming out in a couple of weeks. Call of Duty will be coming out. Obviously, football will be back in a couple of weeks. So exciting times. It's getting close to Christmas too. But yeah, make sure you stay safe, guys. Hit the like button. See you guys in the next one.